Hello everybody and welcome to today's video. Today's a little bit different. I decided let me just stand up instead of sitting down the whole time. So as you can tell by the title of this video is about death. So I am going to tie astrology into it, but more so how to kind of like relieve your stress about death, about the afterlife. This is going to kind of have 12th house hints into it, but it's mostly going to be about the 8th house. So, the 8th house in astrology is associated with death, with transformation, with taxes and debts and sex and depths. The depth. Okay. Talks about intimacy, vulnerability, trust, banks and other people's money, lending, other people's resources, mm, magic, spell work. What else? Fears, addictions. Some people say addiction is the 12th house. Some people say the 8th house. Just depends. Um, did I mention fears? Which also, again, the 12th house can also kind of be seen as this where fears are. So, 8th house also talks about secrets, um, and so many more things. So, if you're interested in that, learning more about like just the depth of the 8th house, then obviously you know, go search it up. And last but not least, the occult. So things that are hidden, right? And I've said this before, it's different from the 12th house things that are hidden. Usually the 12th houses are blind spots. It's like things that have been forgotten, things that you just kind of look over, but that are actually really important. When they say you have to look over the fine details, details is the 6th house. Um so because if you miss something that was there, that one thing that you missed could really, be a deciding factor of something. Or the best way I can describe the 12th house as well is like you kind of get an inkling about something, but you're just like, nah, like I'm gonna leave it alone. And maybe you forget about it and then like it comes back up again and you're like, damn, like I should have did what I should have paid attention to it the first time, something like that. That can be the 12th house. Uh things that you also kind of like don't want to um, be real about, things that you kind of, or things that we, as a collective, as an individual, things that we purposely like put under the rug because we just don't want to deal with it. Whereas the 8th house is like it's things that are pushed under the rug, or not even pushed under the rug. It's things that are put into the closet. The 8th house is the closet because we specifically don't want people to see it. It's the skeletons in the closet house. It is the house of, you know, not wanting to reveal whatever it is because it's associated with trauma, with wounds, which is also the 8th house. It's associated with, um, it feels like death. Like if you really want, we can really go there. It feels like you're dying, right? And when we think about death, right, usually we think about it in the literal sense. And I am going to talk about literal death, but right now I just want to talk about symbolic death, right? Because when we go from one aspect of our lives to the other, especially sometimes even in relation to like talking and telling the truth, when we are revealing something about ourselves that maybe we've kept hidden because of fear, because of whatever the case may be. We know that on the other side of being open and being vulnerable is a whole new reality, and we that's a symbolic death, right? That is a psychological death, which psychology also rules over the 8th house, the psyche, right? And so we know that we are moving from one plane essentially to the other. And there's a lot of fear in that. Okay. Well, I think that the 8th house within your astrological chart can really show what you fear, right? What is kind of, and also it shows where you have the most transformations in your life, kind of where you experience the most deaths and how you handle it as well. Um, it shows what can age you in relation to these moments of death. So, like on the very basic level, and all of the areas in the 8th house are going to hate me right now. But it's just so easy to use like sports and working out as an example for Aries. And of course, you need to look at your Mars sign, right? Like, duh. Okay. So when we think about Aries in the eighth house, and it's like, how can this person kind of uh, deal with their fear of death or their fear of intimacy or vulnerability or whatever the case may be in relation to matters of the eighth house? Well, they can work out or they can look at it. They can adopt the mentality that they do when they do work out, if they do, right? These people might have a fear of working out. Like these people might be, or just like of toning their bodies in some way, shape, or form. And of course, this depends on the Mars sign, okay? Not all Aries in the eighth house are going to, it's going to manifest the same way, but this is just me being very basic because I can't go through all of them, right? I can't go through all of the signs. I will literally be here forever. And there's so many interpretations that I wouldn't be able to go through all of them. Okay. So, anyway, the Aries in the eighth house is if they do work out, they should adopt that mentality when they're working out, right? Whatever kind of triumph that they've gone through already when it comes to like sports, um, they should use that. So, like, for example, let's say like they ran a marathon before, and let's say they're going through something where, um, I don't know, something that has to do with secrets and just fear or addiction or whatever, like they should adopt the same mentality that they did whenever they were training for the marathon, whenever they were doing the marathon. Look at it as a sport. Look at it as if you are competing for something. You know what I mean? Like you will win. You know what I mean? Like, how people say you can't cheat death. Like I feel like Aries in the eighth house are like, no, I can cheat death or I can win over that. You know what I mean? So that's like a small interpretation of that. And like I said, symbolic death is um, so important because it really does make way for literal death. And I do believe that like death is not actually real, like in the way of like you no longer exist, if that makes sense. Like it is not nothingness. And people ask me all the time, like, if you've ever seen my videos, you know that I'm a dreamer, you know that I find so much importance in like astral travel and consciousness, right? Because at the end of the day, we're talking about awareness. My work has a lot to do with awareness. And so there is no death if you are aware of yourself. You know what I mean? And so if you don't know what I mean by that, then continue watching, stay on this channel. I'm going to have a lot more videos about this particular topic in different ways. But the point that I'm making is that the eighth house and the 12th house too, because the 12th house is another kind of death. It's of letting go. It's the moksha house, which is, like um spiritual enlightenment. Okay. And good spiritual fortune. Okay. So, and that's depending on who you ask. So in that case, it is important to look at your eighth and your 12th house respectively. And if like the ruler of your eighth is in your 12th and vice versa, then hello, welcome. But yeah, it's like it's so important because you don't want to be afraid of death because what are you really being afraid? What are you really afraid of? You know what I mean? Are you afraid of change? What are you actually afraid of? Are you afraid of forgetting who you are? Are you afraid of leaving something behind? Like, what is it that you're afraid of? And I feel like your eighth house can really kind of shine light on that. The reason why the 12th house is super important as well is because I think a lot of people who are afraid of death are also inherently afraid of sleep. There is a connection between death and sleep. There are many, 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 not folk tales, I'm trying to find the word. Just like deities, I guess I should say. No, nope, that's not the word. I can't find the phrase, but throughout, history, throughout time, there has always been a connection between sleep and death. They say, what's the quote? Sleep is the cousin of death, or vice versa, something like that. Sleep and death are um, family members, whatever, whatever, whatever. Okay. So these, a lot of the times, people who have like really like have trouble sleeping, and I'm going to make a whole nother video on if you have trouble sleeping, and it's going to be like a little bit astrological based, but like also not really. So it just depends on like what I'm feeling that day. But long story short, you can look at your 12th house as well as it relates to like your relationship with sleep, because the 12th house is the house of sleep, the house of dreaming, dreams, astral travel, stuff like that. And uh, you can also use your 12th house to be able to, use the gifts in your 12th house so that as you become a better sleeper, you also become better at relieving your fear of death. Because I'm telling you, and people ask me all the time when I get asked about death. Like especially because I don't know if it's because I'm a dreamer and I talk about dreams so like easily, and just like, people are like fascinated by the way that I talk about dreams, that a lot of them have so many questions about my relationship with death, and they're just kind of like, "Oh, like, are you afraid of death?" and da da da. And I'm like, "No, why would I be afraid of death? I look forward to sleep. I look forward to going to bed. Like, that is my favorite time of the day." As a 12th house sun, Mercury, Uranus, Neptune, Jupiter. Am I forgetting a planet? No, yeah. Like, and a Pisces ascendant, like, I look forward to going to sleep because, like, I cannot wait to be free. Hello? Can anybody hear me? I cannot wait to go to bed so that I can be free. And I think that a lot of people can find so much peace of mind when they realize their capabilities a part of the body. You know what I mean? And so people are so there's and I feel like Aries in the eighth Aries in the eighth house, and people who probably have Earth in the eighth house as well might be way too attached to the body. Taurus in the eighth house as well. And their fear of death comes from like they just love the body so much and the pleasures that the body brings and stuff like that. And it's just like if you just strengthened your dream life, you would know that you would know the pleasures beyond the body, which doesn't mean that the body doesn't have its purpose in specific pleasures and things of that nature, but just that there's so much more. It's like it to me, in my opinion, it's like you're like somebody who's like obsessed with the rainbow, and they're like, I don't want to die because I'm never gonna see these colors again. Like, how many colors are on the rainbow that we can like see, right? It's Roy G. Biv, right? And like finding out that there's more colors that you're not actually able, like your human body can't actually see. You know what I mean? And everybody's different, and that's another topic for another day if you catch my drift. Some people who have like heightened abilities and things of that nature. So like, and then learning that there's so many other colors that we don't even have name for, that whatever, and you're just like, no, but Roy G. Biv, but Roy G. Biv. It's like, really? Roy G. Biv? Like what? That's like, is that seven? R Y G B I V. That's eight. Are you kidding? Eight? And you find out there's like 1,000, 10,000 other colors that exist. Like, come on. You know what I mean? Like, anyway, this is just a precursor. So let me not get too deep into it, okay? Because as you guys know, like, I have a lot of different transits going on in my freaking chart right now. So I've been feeling this need of like pivoting some of the videos that I make, and just like, just adding on more things, expanding, and just so many things. So if you're interested in this kind of video, let me know. Let me know what you guys think about death. What have you learned about death? What have you learned about sleep? What have you learned about dreaming? What have you learned about astral travel? Um, do you want to see more videos like this? I definitely have a lot of ideas and I'm going to be expanding on this more. So definitely subscribe, comment, engage, stay tuned. Let me know some other videos that you want to see. Even if they're not astrology related, or if you don't know if you don't know the astrological question to ask, just ask it. And like my mind will compute it into an astrology way of, talking about it. Like, hello, Mercury conjunct Uranus, present. So thank you guys so much for watching. When I upload this video, there is a new moon in Pisces coming up in literally like 2 days. I don't even remember. Typical Pisces. So I hope that you have an amazing new moon in Pisces. Let me just say that the Sun, Moon, Mercury, North Node, Neptune. Am I missing somebody? I think that's it, are all going to be in Pisces. So check the house that Pisces is in. Pisces is a sign that rules over altered states of consciousness. Dreaming is an altered state of consciousness. Pisces also rules over other realities. There's so many things that I can say about Pisces, but um, I hope that you guys have a great Pisces new moon. It's happening in my first house. So, I'm going to come back as, basically a new person. My next video, I'm going to basically be a new person. So, but no, let me stop because the new moon, remember, the new moon is us setting intentions. Okay. So it really isn't until the Pisces full moon that's going to happen in September that I feel like is really there's going to be noticeable changes in my life and with me. But the new moon, make sure you set those intentions. Make sure that you're letting go of things of the past. You are forgiving. Pisces rules over forgiveness. Daydream, right? Use your imagination. Hello. um Make up those scenarios as you're listening to music of what you want your life to look like, of what you want your life to be. And this is a perfect time to tap into the energy of dreams and of sleep and of death. So use that to your advantage if you can. Let's make it a goal that, if you came onto this video now, 6 months from now, no matter when you're watching this video, that you will have a completely different relationship with sleep, with dreams, and with death. And I guarantee that. Okay. So again, thank you guys so much for watching today's video, and I'll catch you guys on my next one. Bye.